first things first, I thought let's start off with just hearing a bit about Nick, like the background of the brand and sort of the story, the story from the start.
Sure. So Ollie and Nick, it was founded in 2002. So we had our 20th birthday actually just last year. It's a family business. We sort of parents own it, and it was a different business back then. There were lots of bricks and mortar stores. We sold handbags in shops from Brighton, as we spoke about, all the way up to Scotland. We did retail business and wholesale business. They sort of ran alongside each other, but primarily the growth was through the shops. And then fast forward to 2014, the business went all online. We sort of had an online presence before that, but the shops were sort of one of the main focuses. But with trends moving towards e-commerce, we thought online's where we need to be. Don't need to worry about some of the costs associated with having shops. And then through that, really, we've just grown our online presence, whether it's through paid marketing or not. I got involved in the business in about 2018. So that was 5 years ago. And it's literally just three of us, 3.5 of us and the dog. So it's quite a small team, but we sort of do what we can with what we have. And yeah, I mean, that's a very quick summary of 20 years, as I'm sure, lots of different things happen. But now we're a direct consumer online website, small team, and we sell women's fashion accessories. We've always been handbag people. We sort of design our own bags and we source them, but we've also been selling clothes more recently. We sort of buy that all within the UK, which is where we're based. And that's a lot of we see a style, we bring it in, put it online, and we sort of go round and round on a seasonal basis. But yeah, women's fashion accessories for the sort of our customers, sort of a lady who's 35 and above, really. We don't like to cap it because we have sort of very varying customers. But yeah, middle-aged lady, fashion, handbags and clothing.
So how does it work to have such a small team? I mean, you guys have quite a interesting story. I mean, you've been around for a while, but how have you grown to where you are today by being such a small team?
Grown is subjective, I suppose. It was sort of, when the shops, it was sort of like this with the shops that was coming up. And then 2014, when we went online, it was actually a sort of a down phase of the business. But then we sort of, from there, we have grown online, you could say. So it's been sort of, we just keep pedaling, we keep going. But we work hard. We do lots. I've got Jane here, who is sort of the other person.
She's listening in, making sure you're answering the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. Extended the product offer. We've done lots. And to be honest, we do a lot of paid marketing was a big thing for us. We didn't do any paid marketing pre-COVID, really. And then we did quite a lot of wholesale business pre-COVID. But when COVID came in, every shop closed, and that affected us quite a lot because, a nice portion of our business was through bricks and mortar stores, but us selling to those stores. So we thought, right, what do we need to do to bring our website up to speed to cover the losses of the wholesale business? And paid marketing was a big part of that for us. We started, as many do, with your Facebooks of the world and all of that. And we saw results from it, and it was good. And we built on that whilst sort of doing it steadily. Because that's the thing, I think you can, with these big teams and, if there's sort of money coming in, you can look at that exponential growth that people want to see. But I think just because it's a small business with us, I mean, literally two of us run a day to day. It's just sort of, gradual incremental growth through steady scaling of ads, but also a steady increase in product offer, which is what I mentioned about, introducing clothing, introducing some homeware bits here and there, additional accessories. So yeah, widening the product offer and scaling through marketing spend, but also sort of running organic alongside that because they play into each other, don't they?
What type of challenges have you guys had with launching campaigns specifically, I would want to say, but also in general?
I'd say we've had challenges with having depth in product that we can scale with. I think because we have quite a wide product offer and we buy smaller volumes of particular styles because we weren't quite sure what would work. With clothing was a brand new offer for us, and you're not just going to go in and place a massive PO for all these things that you've never sold before. You sort of have to gradually build on that. And we found that we have these core products that do really well and we can scale them with ads, but it's back to, you can't overbuy because you'll just leave yourself in a very vulnerable position. But at the same time, if you underbuy, you don't have that product depth to scale with. I think that goes back to our growth conversation. For us, it's been quite gradual and needs to be quite gradual because we're not willing to put risk on ourselves really having this big product offer. And we'd have to finance it. Yeah, exactly. I'd say that is one of our bigger challenges at the moment, actually, is putting ourselves in a position where we have a product offer that we can scale with and also sort of repeatedly purchase, I would say. And the bags are made in China. So that gives us bigger lead times and there are issues with China generally. So I'll give an example. For example, we were meant to have our bags in February arriving, and they've sort of said they've actually still got COVID issues because they're in the south of China, and we won't get them until March now. So we'll sort of have 2 months amiss of where we think we should have been. And these are our products that we were talking about that we can scale with ads and do really well with. So that's one of our main challenges. Otherwise, we were COVID winners. It was as much as a challenge as it was an opportunity. I mean, because back we did a lot of wholesale business, and that went like that, literally. I mean, it's not literally everyone said, right, we're not buying from you, but they just didn't say anything. So we had to figure something out, which was going to keep us, if anything, at the same place, but also give us a chance to grow. And COVID was actually a big win for online business in that respect, but we also had to bring the offer to them quite quickly. So we were able to make the most of it.
Yeah. And now you're in a place where you have a scalable
platform
solution, I would say.
Yeah.
Your website, your products, the way you're working with advertising, which I want to get into soon, but now you have a scalable store that you can start launching more and grow. That's at least my perception.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's a different business to what it was 5 years ago, I'd say, because we are much more focused on selling through our store. Whereas before we were sort of spinning many plates. We sort of had, a wholesale to smaller boutiques here, wholesale to bigger customers here. And then our online store was definitely there, but it wasn't like North Star as such, as much as it is now. And that's a good thing. I think we're in a good position compared to where we were before. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fantastic. That's awesome to hear. Yeah. So when it comes to advertising campaigns, paid ads, what type of channels did you start off with?
So we started off with Facebook and Google, just those two, because they just seem the most obvious. We found success with Facebook much earlier on than we did with Google, so much to say that we sort of actually left Google behind. We were sort of like, why would we spend here and here? Facebook is the clear winner for us. We found it was much more visual, which we think our customers preferred. There's a whole keyword side of Google, but I felt that I could sort of grab Facebook.
So when you say Google, are you referring to like Google Shopping or Google Display?
At that time, it was AdWords. Yeah, at that time it was search. At that time it was AdWords. I've done some shopping more recently, but once again, we just see much better results with Facebook. And maybe it's something I do, but we see much better with Facebook. Yeah, and Jane's saying it's our audience, which it is. Our audience is sort of old ladies, middle-aged ladies who spend much more of their time on Facebook. I mean, you can look at demographics of, older customers on Facebook, the younger customer is on TikTok now, or the Instagrams of the world, and Twitter's all somewhere elsewhere for us. But Facebook is where we saw our customers relate to the brand the best. And we took it from there, really.
Any speed bumps along the way when it comes to Facebook advertising? So you left Google, but when it comes to Facebook, the type of campaigns you were running there, have you run into speed
bumps? We did actually, because when we first got involved with Facebook, we had our pixel set up on our store. Actually, for years, we had it just in the background for a long time, which was great because we had essentially been collecting this data on our customers without actually using it for so long. So we had some very high quality data essentially for Facebook to feed into, which gave us incredible results at the start, which is what I was saying we left Google behind. But we found that as our pixel data was used and we weren't necessarily bringing it in as much as Facebook was using it, we saw our returns diminish, which led us to believe that we were sort of like, oh, we had this thing and where's it all gone in a way? But we stuck with it. And we did, through me learning more about ads, I hadn't run paid ads before that. And I'd sort of learn more about what was working, what wasn't working, copy, visual, all of that good stuff. We sort of brought it back to a good point. And then actually it was the Christmas period. It was November into December. I was like, right, we're going to go for it. Products in place. Here's the scale the ads. Let's make it happen. And during that time, our Facebook ad costs essentially doubled. So our CPMs doubled, but my ad spend also doubled. So we sort of spent twice to stand still compared to what we were sort of doing a couple of months before. So that was that was quite frustrating, but also a challenge, but you can't do anything about the cost of the ad. The auction is what the auction is, unless you're cost capping, another conversation. So that was a challenge. But after that, I sort of learned more about it, really. Those challenges sort of give you the insight to how you can prevent it from next time or other options. So that's been the challenge. But also a challenge has been our reliance on Facebook. And we sort of felt that we are still reliant on Facebook because it's a tool in our toolkit, which is fine. But sometimes we sort of thought, right, you got your paid, unpaid, email, which is great for us. We've been picking up a lot on email recently. But how can we sort of spread our marketing spend outside of just Facebook?
Like diversify.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it is quite Facebook is what Facebook is and it's great and it does a great job. But there's nothing to say they could say, right, you can't run ads on the handbags tomorrow, which they won't do. But, that sort of, it's,
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. It could be changes in the algorithms or just performance. I mean, we talk with our Shopify clients about the Facebook slap, where everyone's going to experience it one day if you haven't experienced it yet. Which is just one day, all of a sudden your campaign stopped performing. There's a lot of work you can put down in and solve the problem, but it just happens. And that's why having, I think, more of an investor is usually how we want to communicate it. It's that you need to diversify your marketing mix. You need to have some ad spend in Google, some ad spend in Meta, and like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever it could be. We're talking about as Facebook is a primary channel for you, and you wanted to diversify. And why did you start using Match2One? Is that one of the things that led you into Match2One?
It was a conversation we were having, definitely. And then it was actually from a friend of ours said, have you tried programmatic ads? And we essentially said, what is programmatic ads? We never heard of it. And then it's, it's those side banners on websites. And we thought, okay, well, we'll take a look at it and give it a try. And then I literally just jumped on and said programmatic ads, and you guys came up, and I thought, yep, they look quite smart. Connection with Shopify, I think, as you said, it was sort of as the Shopify app was being released, which was great because it was just integrated with us. And we took it from there. I mean, we spoke about sort of running retargeting ads, prospecting ads, and we've seen success in retargeting ads, definitely. And we're sort of going from there. Yeah. And it's great. It runs alongside very well with what we do. We're happy to be on board with it.
Could you expand a bit more on the actual integration and how setting up your Match2One account was?
Yeah, the integration was so simple. I can't even really remember. If something's stressful, you're going to remember it and what it was. But it was very seamless, and that was easy enough. And then we just sort of went from there. I think there was some pixel integration, some code that we put in, but apart from that, it was seamless. And we just had a quick call, I think, about what we were looking to do with Match2One and what you guys would be able to do for us. And then we took it from there about what the best opportunities were for us. So yeah, easy. It was good. But yeah, it was easy as. And the analytics are very good as well. So it was fun.
How long did it take you to go from, you heard about programmatic?
Yeah, it was programmatic.
Match2One, you installed the app, and you went to actually launching a campaign.
I think we had it all in the week. Whether it was Monday to Friday or whatever, it was quick. We was looking at it, and you guys onboarded me very quickly. Connection to Shopify was easy, which was great because I know some people aren't necessarily on Shopify, or some people like yourself offer products that aren't for Shopify. But it was very easy. And once we had sort of looked at what I was looking to get out of the app and what you guys could offer me, it was simply just set it up. I made some creative, which was new, but that was fine. That was good. It was sort of very clearly laid out the sort of specifications of banners I needed to make and what sort of coverage I would get from Match2One. I thought that was quite interesting. And then we went from there, and you see results analytically come through quite quickly because it's all on your dashboard. It's very helpful to see all of that.
So what type of results are important to you when you're looking at the dashboard at Match2One?
The return. I think the return is important. I think click-through rate is quite important for me because sometimes, if you're testing different creative, I find impressions are what you pay for, so they'll be out there. But seeing people actually click on it, that's sort of what captures the attention and gets them in. And so I'd say click-through rate is important for me, and then just return. Yeah, I think cost sort of plays in because it's a very auction-based game. I sometimes think it is out of your control unless you're setting caps. But yeah, I think click-through rate is important for me, and it's great. I think I had a call with you guys, and Omar walked me through it all and sort of showed me much more than I knew I was actually there, which was useful. So I've been playing with that quite a lot recently.
Cool. That's exactly how we want people to be using the platform. Do you have an example of like you're looking at return in the platform? What type of things in the dashboard are you actually looking at when you measure return?
The ROAS, I suppose.
No, that's sort of what I want to get to.
Yeah.
We have one thing with Match2One that's pretty unique is the ROAS, not only the ROAS reporting, but the ROAS optimization.
Right.
So the way that you can optimize campaigns toward not only a conversion, but a conversion that's actually delivering high amount of sale.
Yeah.
So the AI will be working toward that. Right. So are you working with conversion campaigns or are you working with ROAS campaigns? How's that?
Working with ROAS campaigns because we set the target and it does usually sit quite nicely there actually. And I've set it at a stage which I'm happy with and I've just let it run because it's been working well with us. Like I said, I do spend a lot of time in our Facebook ads and in email at the moment. It's definitely been a focus of mine. So it's been quite nice just to set that ROAS campaign, let the AI do its work and sort of just leave it. And then I come in and check in whether it's every other week or it's probably about every other week I come in and check and see how it's doing because it gives it time to learn and then you can make changes if needed. But I've been very happy with the results, so much so that I've just been sort of letting it be. I update our creative as and when I change our messaging. But other than that, it's been very hassle-free for me, which has been great.
What type of results are you seeing in from your Match2One campaign?
Since we started, I think we've had about 4.5 ROAS on average. I mean, I've got it behind me on the screen, and it says, 4.2, which is good. I mean, which is a good return, really. I mean, it's sort of, we mainly run retargeting campaigns at the moment. We found more success with that. We found, in terms of where our customer is in the funnel, Match2One coming in at this level is where the spend is best, really. I mean, always you'll see returns best there because the customer's already engaged, but that's where it sort of fitted us best, and it's been quite good for us.
You look at a CTR as well, and I understand that, considering what you talked about, your audience is really focused on how the design looks, the ads, really.
Yeah, I think so, visually. Yeah, and I find those are sort of the headline figures of the ads. I think if I was spending more time exclusively on our paid ads, I would dive into the rest of the analytics and really study where we were seeing success and where we were and how I can make changes. And whilst I do that, I find that these are the headline figures that I can pull and say, this is doing well, this is not doing well, make changes accordingly, and then make the most out of my time, really. I think that's what I'm trying to say here, because back to small team, lots going on. I have to figure out what's going to be the best use of my time. So seeing this headline figures is what's important to me.
How do you feel now then? We're 3-4 months down the line. You're working with the Facebook, you have email, and now you have Match2One. You're sort of building your marketing mix and diversifying more and more. Are there any other channels you're looking to open up as well?
Honestly, if I'm actually, I'd say organic is where I'd like to spend quite a lot of time at the moment. I find with the three, whether that's email, Match2One, and Facebook, we do very well with them. I think Google would be great for us, but I've tried it quite a few times and I've just not quite cracked it. I don't know if it's me or whatever, but it's something which maybe I'll come to another day. But I think organic is where we actually have quite a big opportunity, because I do post organically, but it's something where, on a scale of whether paid's up here and emails here and whatever, I think organic is where we have the most room to grow. But then again, it's quite challenging because you're putting out content and letting people that see it want to see it. And if they don't want to see it, they're on to the next thing. So that will be another challenge for me. But yeah, that's where our opportunity lies in organic. But that comes back to, if these people are coming in, then we can retarget them with these things, with this program we have in place already, which would be good for us. Yeah.
And everything that you start driving traffic to your website, you'll have the retargeting campaigns that are maximizing the performance of everything you're doing. Is that also something you've seen so far with your campaigns, or even email, to be honest? Have you started seeing that since you started using Match2One in your retargeting campaigns, performance in other channels have also seen an increase?
Yeah, I suppose so. It's sort of, what are the variables? I think we started using Match2One in October, and since then it's a busy time. It's a busy time of year for us. So it came in at a great time. I think it'll be interesting to see the performance sort of through the months of March, April, May, which is typically quieter. I think it could really come into its own then, because these are typically times, where people aren't spending as much, and you sort of need to have your process laid out to get these touch points for the customer, and that's where it could come into its own. But yes, I mean, since then it's definitely been a tool that we've been very happy to have on board.
A lot of, especially within e-commerce, there's a lot of focus on one channel. So diversifying your marketing mix isn't something that they are generally looking for. Looking for something that's, what is the channel which is gonna start delivering sales. But the problem is that that's not really, it's better to put a small amount of budget on a lot of channels than one big amount of budget on one channel.
Yeah. Sure.
So that exactly what you're telling me.
Well, it's about the touch points, isn't it? Whether it's through the customer journey or it's just about how you find them. Plus, we have the customer base, definitely for us, spends most of the time on Facebook, but there is the customer that doesn't have Facebook on their phone. And that it's how do you find that customer elsewhere? So yeah, you're 100% right. I've never looked at it from diversifying from an investing point of view, which I think is a good analogy to draw. Because you're right, you wouldn't own all of one thing because you could be missing out elsewhere. So that's a good look. Definitely.
Yeah, you become very dependent on one channel in the same way that you would be dependent on one investment. But if that doesn't go the right way, then everything is lost. The more diversified you are, that's where you start seeing higher performance.
Definitely.
So just in general, then, if we move on from Match2One, what type of advice would you give to other e-commerce stores, Shopify stores that are looking for an increase in performance, higher amount of sales, higher ROAS? What would you recommend them to?
I think it's very particular to every business, isn't it? It's sort of you analyze where your successes are at the moment, and then I suppose where your opportunities could be. It's tough. I'm not a consultant. I don't know. I suppose, yeah, every business is different. We sort of, whether you're selling cheese and you think, right, this is a product that sells all the time, I can have a very sort of, consistent message throughout the year, or whether it's a seasonal business and you need to play into the time frame so your customers are buying.
But let's take your example. I mean, e-commerce selling like handbags, clothing, and like these type of products. There's a lot of them. Far from all succeed, and you guys are like on a very great path here. Like, do you have any recommendations from your experiences on what's?
We've seen success in buying deep in a particular style or a particular product, and then scaling the ads with that. We have a wide product offer, but the 80-20 rule is something which I think a lot of people talk about, or we hear, 80% of your sales come from 20% of your product. And we've definitely seen that to be true with us. We have a couple of handbag styles that we do really well in, and we just got it right. And then we sort of realized that, noticed that. And that because we work on a seasonal basis, it takes time for us to get product from supplier to us, but we have been able to buy deep into that product. So we have the depth to scale the ads with. I think sometimes we'll have some styles and we'll have, a handful of them, not many at all. And we sell them, and that's great. But it needs to be a product that we know we can scale with. So I suppose it's about identifying your key products, the product that you put it on, that's a customer favorite 100%, and just leaning into the success of that and then using that as a tool that you can sell with, really. I think that's it. And also that will bring in new customers, I suppose, because if you have this product, which you see all the time and you're like, I've seen it all the time, seen it, whatever, we need to move on. If it's a winning product, stick with it, You're not, every customer is a new customer at one point in time. And we've seen whilst the business is growing, the percentage of new customers is going up. We have lots of tools to retain these customers, but if you're bringing in new customers constantly, that product is new to them every time. And you can use that as your main marketing tool through paid marketing, I suppose. But yeah, I'd say that's what it is. Lean into your strengths, buy deep into products that will do well, and then use that so you've got the supply to scale with through some of your best-selling months.
Is there anything within paid marketing that you would recommend?
We've seen success with Facebook. I mean, if I couldn't lie with that. We've seen success with Facebook. I would say, but that's where our customer is. If you have a demo and you sell jewelry to the 22-year-old guy, which is I have a friend who sort of sells that, and he's seen great success on TikTok. He's done really well with that. So I suppose it's identifying where your demographic is and then paying on that app, I suppose. I don't want it to make it sound like you have to run paid ads to run a successful business, because you don't really. But in this day and age, paid marketing is such a powerful tool that you'd be silly not to. And if you can see the returns and if you can set it up in a way where it makes sense for you, it's a very scalable option. And that's what it is, because, the amount of eyes that are out there on the Facebooks of this world, you'd be silly not to try and tap into that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's also something like we don't see ourselves as a competitor to Facebook. It's more about we complement the version.
And when I first started looking at Match2One, it was the terminology of the walled garden that you used. Everything is in Facebook and nothing is outside of Facebook. And we've definitely enjoyed seeing and seen success in having our adverts and our brands on every other website that offers it. Really, it's your Daily Mails of the world, your Mumsnets of the world, which is where we've really tapped into a customer that previously we might not have. But that's been really good for us.
Fantastic. All right. So what's the next step for you? What's the next step for Ollie and Nick?
The next step for us is we actually, just yesterday we had a meeting about bringing more people in, because it's definitely a point for us. There's sort of this tipping point where we've grown the business. We've grown over the past 4 or 5 years. We've done as much as we can between just us, and we need to sort of bring on other people to allow it to grow further, because there's only so much we can do. And whilst we can, tirelessly be in the office and doing all that we do, it will give us better options if we have more people involved. But all of it, it's all the things that we are in a way already doing. But it's back to, we're a team of 2, and we just have to sort of pick and choose I would say battles, but they're not battles, pick and choose our priorities. That's what I would, pick and choose our priorities to what will be best for the business. But bringing in more people, understanding that we now know that we can buy deep into these particular products and scale through that. And then by doing that, the numbers go up and we have more options to what we want to do, really. Yeah, that's sort of where we're at. Bring more people on, that's the answer.
You sort of found something that's working and you're looking to expand on that a bit.
Yeah, there is one particular style, but I'd say there's sort of two or three, but there's one that, you're always going to have a bestseller. But yeah, it's test and scale, test and scale,
Yeah.
test and scale. And it's the never ending wheel that you go around with, which is fine because that's how it works. But yeah, it's definitely just continue testing, continue scaling, and bring on more people. Bring on more.
So, Josh, thanks a lot for this. And I look forward to having another interview with you in a year or 2 years' time.
Yeah.
Looking back at the year that's gone. And
Maybe I'll have a better time then. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
We might be taking the interview from Bahamas then.
Yeah, maybe.